Do I really need a microphone?
Yeah, for the
Aye.
for the YouTube.
Okay. Good morning. Ciao. Good evening, everybody. Going to fix that. Okay, good evening. I'm glad to be back. My first time preaching again since 6 months. This is my first time being back. I got back 2 weeks ago, so I'm glad to be here. We had a good day of ministry today. We got to, I don't know, we visited the Botocan. We have, yeah, Botocan. And we have ministries there in Area 2. But then we were invited to also do ministry in Area 7. So, Area 7, Botocan. 7, Area 7. It's deep. Dami bata dyan. Area 7 sa Botocan. So lots of kids there. And next Saturday, we'll do a feeding there for our first time in Area 7. And then we were invited to do VBS also, VBS, Vacation Bible School. So that's exciting. The Capitana there is born again. And so she's very open to having ministry there. So that's exciting. And then we visited Litex, Commonwealth, May Sunog, last Sunday. So we'll do ministry there. 44 homes. Wala na. So we got to talk to the secretary of the Commonwealth, Barangay Commonwealth, the second largest barangay. The first is Holy. The biggest barangay is maybe Holy Family, I don't know. And then the second is Barangay Commonwealth. So in there, in Litex, behind the wet market, there's a fire last Sunday. So 44 homes. So we have nails already. And then we're also taking donations for clothes. We asked them, what do they need? They said basic things. So, mga damit, mga pagkain, bigas. So, we'll be going there next Tuesday. Anyways, it was a good day for ministry. Amen. So, it's exciting. I'm excited to be back and be doing ministry. Anyways, excuse me, that's enough about me. Let's preach. So, tonight our verse or our verses is Proverbs chapter 24, verses 33 and 34 now. So I'm actually going to read verse 30 to 34 because I think it's important to start there. Okay. So I'll read it now. I went past the field of a sluggard, which means a lazy person, diba? Past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Walang naman sa ulo. So thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber. Slumber means sleep or nap. A little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. And this is a good topic for the Philippines, for any place, because there's a lot of poverty, so we can learn from that. So, for context, when Solomon was doing his journey, he's a traveler. He's traveling, and he's seeing a lot of places, lots of places, a lot of beautiful places. But then he's also noticing, of course, some of the mga lugar na sobrang pangit, So he's seeing all these ugly places. He's seeing beautiful places and these amazing farms with fruits. But then he sees these vineyards and these farms that have overgrown with weeds, and they don't have any fruit, and the walls are ruined. And he says he went past the fields of a sluggard. So He knew that these places that he saw belonged to a lazy guy, right? And the lazy guy was not taking care of the place. So there's two things that I want to talk about tonight. Two things that we can learn from this, okay? And the first thing I want to point to is obviously there's the obvious lesson. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief. And that's our verses for tonight. Is our verses are 33, 34. So that's our first lesson. It's very obvious. This is a piece of wisdom that he's giving us, right? He's telling us if you sleep, you take a nap. You know, if you're not working, poverty, you're gonna be poor. You're gonna, scarcity. Scarcity means I know what it means, but like ang konti lang. Scarce, konti lang. So, he's saying that when you're lazy, you're not gonna have anything. If you don't have anything, maybe it's because you're lazy. Like we were talking, I was with a friend of mine earlier, and he's working on, he does humanitarian work, intercultural studies in Messiah. And then he was talking, he works with the urban poor, yung mga poor areas from whatever. So anyways, he works with them, and he was telling me, it's a constitution in Philippines, sabi dyan, that it is up to the man to work for his own money. The government is secondary. So the point is, and I don't want to be political by any means, but the point is that you have to work for what you want. You have to work for it. If you're lazy, and if you're not working, if you're sleeping, when there's work to be done, then you're not gonna have the things that you want or the things that other people are working for. Sometimes it's easy to be envious of other people. The people in Mayaman, diba? But it's easy to say, I wish that I was also rich like them. They're rich because they worked for it. Now, of course, there are some people who just got rich because their family's rich, but most of those people are rich because they worked hard. Most of those people with nice cars or nice houses is because they worked hard. I met a woman when I was in Vietnam, Filipina. She's from Tondo, in the poorest part of the Philippines, I think, or one of the poorest parts in Tondo, Manila. And now she's very wealthy. In Vietnam. She lives in Vietnam. She's a Christian. And I asked her, I said, how did you do that? I asked her, is the rest of her family rich? She said, no, I grew up in Tondo. She said, I didn't want to live that way, so I got rich. I worked hard. And she said, my family's still poor because they're lazy. Do you get what I'm saying here? Now, of course, there are those people, they don't have a choice, right? Some people, especially the disabled people or the people, they don't have a choice. I get it. I understand that. Not everybody, and also, especially in the Philippines, daming tao, walang trabaho. So I understand not everybody has a fair chance, but at least try, right? Huh? Right. Low salary, and even if you're working, at least have even low salary. At least you're working, right? At least you're working, and you're gonna be blessed with that. Those people, even if you're having a low salary, at least you're trying to make your life better, right? Those people that don't work, and those people that don't want to go out and find a job, like in America, we have a lot of homeless people. It's easy to get a job in the States. There's jobs everywhere. And you can get a job, make $8 an hour, $10, 500 pesos for 1 hour, 8 hours a day, right? People here would kill for that opportunity. But in the States, some people are so lazy, they would rather be homeless than to have to work. Well, no wonder they're not being blessed, or no wonder their life is not good because they're too lazy. They don't take care of themselves. And then what happens is when you're lazy and you're not taking care of yourself, your whole life is gonna, it says here, we can apply this to our life. When it says the field of a sluggard, we can also say the life of a lazy person. Look, when someone becomes lazy, they lose their job. Then they lose their house. They lose their car. Well, if they're homeless, maybe their wife leaves them. Their life will fall apart. So the point is, you have to take care of yourself. Now, of course, the Lord blesses us. The Lord is the one who takes care of us. But we have to be good stewards of that. And that's really what it comes down to, is stewardship. And that's kind of the key word, is stewardship. It is always the Lord. The Lord is the one who gives us job. The Lord is the one who gives us money. The Lord is the one who blesses us. We can't take credit for that, right? Because God does that. But we have to be good stewards of that. Meaning we have to take care of the opportunities that God gives us. And you don't know, maybe God has an opportunity for working, even with a low salary. Maybe he has that opportunity for you, but you're too lazy to go out and do it. Like we talk about these fields, and Solomon, he walked past these fields that were ripe and that had all these, great fruits. The Lord blessed all these people with fields. The ones who were good stewards of that and took care of the fields, they were blessed, right? And the ones who didn't take care of it, they didn't have anything because they didn't take care of it. The Lord blessed them with this land and the opportunity to have all this stuff, and they just threw it away. Do we want to be the people? Do you want to be the kind of person that throws away opportunity that comes from God? Of course not. I am always amazed and humbled to think that there's 7 billion people in this world. 7 billion, maybe more, maybe 8 billion. I don't know. A lot of billions. Daming tao sa mundo. But God looked at me and gave me opportunity and blessed me. That's an honor. Of course, I want to take care of that. Yeah. God looked at you and he said, I'm going to take care of Job. I'm going to give him a home. And he looked at Nanay Celine and said, I'm going to take care of her. Sa LTO. Yeah. Now, do you want to be the person that wastes that opportunity? That says to God, it's not good enough for me. Those people who won't take a job for a low wage, that's like telling God, it's not good enough. Your opportunity isn't good enough. Who are we to tell God it's not good enough? No? It's so sad to think that people would think that. We have to take care of what God gives us. And that's very important. That's stewardship, taking care of everything. Not trashing things. Even as simple as washing your car, right? Taking care of your car, your home, keeping your home clean. Maybe you buy a TV. I recently got a TV finally. I lived here for 3.5 years. Never had a TV because I don't need it. I don't need a TV, but we're about to have a baby. And Angie needs to stay home with the baby. So I said, I'm going to get a TV so that, at least she has something to do. And at least when we're up at night with the baby. And so I got Flash Steel on Lazada. So very cheap. Anyways, you take care of that TV. I know some people who buy TVs and they just don't take care of them, right? And it's a waste of money. Some people, the LG TV, 15K, smart TV, and then people would just trash it, right? You have to take care of those things. Lord blessed you with that TV. That's an example. Mine is not that TV. Mine is a cheap Lazada TV, but very cheap, just a small one. But anyways, the point is taking care of the things that the Lord gives us. By the way, if God gives us something and we don't take care of it, why would he want to give us more? Right? If he gives us a car or a job and we don't take care of that job, if we don't show up on time or if we don't do a good job, if we don't work hard, if he gives us land and we sleep and don't take care of it, why would he want to bless us more when we already proved that we're not going to take care of what he gives us anyway? Right? By the way, God has nothing to prove. We have everything to prove. We don't deserve anything that God gives us. None of the blessings we have, we don't deserve it. So let's appreciate it and let's take care of it. That's why the theme for tonight is be industrious. What's the Tagalog? How do you describe being it? Yeah, be hardworking. Sipag. Be hardworking and at least appreciate those things and opportunities that God gives us. Maybe it's a business opportunity. Mad tongue. I'm waiting for more mad tongue. That's a business opportunity. I'm waiting. I'm craving mad tongue. Anyway, so we have to work hard for what we have. And I believe that when we take care of the things that God gives us and we appreciate that and we work hard to have those things, He's going to bless us more. Because God sees that. And He sees that we're being a good steward. He sees that we're taking care of the blessings He gives us. And it makes Him happy. I believe that. So let's take care of the things He gives us. Right? Even if have a small house or a small car, look, my Picanto, it's just a tiny budget car. But I used that. I took care of it, and I used it for mountain movers. We went to all over the country to help people. Bicol, to Gigarao, Ilocos Norte, Zambales. We went to Zambales, Sagada, Banguet, yung landslide, some Banguet. I use it for the Lord. And the Lord blessed me with that car. It's a good car. There's no problems with that car. I never had to spend money on it. Never anything broken. I'm taking care of it. I appreciate that. I didn't deserve that car. And that points me to the second thing. Everything you do, do it for the Lord. Point to the Lord. Now, of course, every day I'm not going to use that car for the Lord. Obviously I need to take, Angie to the doctor or whatever, or go to Trinoma. But I'm still dedicating it and using it for God's work. Every time I drive out of town, and I'm not bragging, because there's also things that I didn't take care of that the Lord blessed me with. There are things, for me, especially when I was younger, relationships that the Lord blessed me with, maybe family or friends, not taking so much good care of those relationships, right? So different things. So I'm not bragging. I'm using that as an example. That the things that the Lord gives you, use them for the Lord and work and take care of them. The Lord's going to keep blessing you. I would love if mountain movers could buy a truck. Why? Because we could use it for, like right now, for example, the Picanto. We can't hardly bring things in it. It's hard. Very hard especially if there's a disaster and out of town. We can't bring very many relief goods in the small car. Now, we'll make it work. But my point is, I would love that, and especially maybe if we're in a flooded area, we can't take the Picanto there. I'm not complaining. My point is, I would love to eventually be able to get a truck for mountain movers. Not for myself, but for mountain movers. And I believe that if we take care of what the Lord has given us, like the Picanto, eventually the Lord's going to bless us with a step up. I believe that. That's why it's important for me to be a good steward of that car. I believe if we keep taking care of it, the Lord's going to bless us for what we need. Now, right now, we don't really need a truck because we don't do that many things that we have a lot of. But eventually, if we grow and if we're really bringing a lot of things, or a lot of nails, right? Eventually, we're going to need that. Hopefully we grow. And when the time comes that we need that, I believe if we take care of the small things that God gave us, He's going to give us the bigger things. That seems almost impossible when you think of that. We need a truck. That's how much is a truck? At least $500,000. No, that's expensive. I don't have $500,000. Mountain Movers doesn't have $500,000. But I believe that God's gonna take care of us if we take care of the things He gives us. That's why it's very important for me. And I told Hans this. I said it's very important. Number one, that we use this Picanto for the Lord, and that we take good care of it, because God gave us this, even though it seems like a small car or a cheap car. God blessed us with that, and we have to be careful with that, and we have been, even though there's a lot of bumps, because when we go out in the mountain areas, Sometimes it's the car's sababa. So there's rocks and things and it hits. But anyways, you understand? Am I being clear?
Yeah.
I've talked enough about that. And again, I'm not bragging about me taking care of things. I don't want you two to think that, or anybody online. I'm just using that as an example. That's all. Just an example, okay? Like I said, I messed up many times myself. We all mess up. We're all sinners, right? I'm a sinner. There's things I don't take care of that I should. So I'm not. We all have this problem. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and I'm almost finished. This is a very important thing, and this is the reason why I wanted to read the verses before, the 30 to 31, 32, and I'll read it again. It says, I went past the field of a sluggard, a lazy man, past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds. The stone was all in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. Oh, that is an important thing to me. And I think it's important for us to talk about that for a few minutes, all right? It says, I applied my heart, verse 32. I applied my heart to what I observed, and I learned a lesson from what I saw. This is a very important piece of wisdom. Why? Do you notice anything about this? Number one, he didn't judge those people. That's an important thing. He didn't judge them. Okay? He didn't say, but he used the word sluggard. He used the word, he didn't say this lazy jerk. He used the literal word, but he's not judging them. He's not saying they're idiots and they're stupid and they're not taking care of what the Lord gave them and what is wrong with them. He's just very fat. Ito na. And he says, I applied to my heart what I observed, and I learned a lesson from what I saw. So he looked, he saw, and he put it in his heart, and he learned from that. He didn't judge. He didn't make problems. He didn't, say anything. He didn't gossip. He just put it in his heart, and he learned. And that's important for us to remember. When we see people making mistakes, it's not our part to judge. Now, of course, accountability. If I see Job if you see me make a mistake, or if I'm not taking care of my car, so you tell me. You tell me. Confront me. Hold me accountable. That's fine. Say, hey, Alex, I noticed that you're not taking care of this car. That's fine. If I notice that you're not taking care of your hair anymore, I'm going to tell you, take care of your hair, Job. I'm joking, but I do. I love your helmet hair. It's okay to hold people accountable if you have that kind of relationship. Now, of course, don't walk out on the street and say, who are you? To someone you don't know. But it's okay. But don't make a scene. Don't judge them. It's not your place to judge. If you can back yourself up biblically with the Bible and say what you're doing is not godly, that's fine. But that's not my point. My point is he did not judge them. He didn't make a problem. He didn't gossip. He just learned. And that's what we can do when we see people making mistakes. We just learn from that. We say, okay, I'm not going to do that. But guess what? If I'm lazy, it doesn't affect you, Job. If you're lazy, it doesn't affect me. I can learn from that. And I can say, oh, Job's lazy and now he is homeless. I don't want to be lazy because I don't want to be homeless. Or if I'm lazy and I don't take care of my car and it breaks. Well, I don't want to have my car broken. So you're going to learn from that. Bro, you don't need to make chismes. You don't need to go tell other people or talk about it or have, some people, they get angry when other people make mistakes.
Side comments.
Huh?
Side comments.
Yes, exactly. Side comments. It doesn't matter. As he said, he just observed and he put it in his heart and he learned. And that's important for us. And I'm not accusing anybody of gossiping or anything. I'm just saying, it's very easy to gossip, and it's easy to judge. We all have that. I can be very judgmental sometimes. Sometimes it's easy for me to see people that, if I had that, especially when people waste money, especially in the States. I have this problem when I'm in the States sometimes, and I see rich, when I see the people na mayaman, and then they're just wasting. Sayang naman. If kung mayaman ako na daming ministry, diba? And I start to judge. Pero, the Lord blessed you with that, but you're wasting. No, that's a bad attitude. The attitude should be, okay, if ever I'm rich, I'm gonna take care of it. I don't think I'll ever be rich, but if ever I'm rich, that's the point. Just learn from that. You don't need to judge people. It's not your place. That's for the Lord. The Lord will judge them. The Lord will tell them what they need to hear. The Lord's going to take care of that. They're accountable to God. It doesn't matter for you. You can look at them and you can learn from those mistakes. And I think it's very important for us to be observant of other people and learn from the way people act. For example, if you see someone who's being blessed and they're really living a good life, well, why? What are they doing right? Right? If you see someone who's not being blessed, who's living a bad life, why? What are they doing wrong? Diba? And put it in your heart and use that to make yourself a better person and a better Christian. Nagets ba? Magets mo? Nanasaline? Sige, tapos na. Tulog na. So anyways, the point is, I think it's an important wisdom that when we see people making mistakes, we just learn from that. Just like he did when he saw that field and he told us, I put it in my heart and I learned. We can use those mistakes of other people to make us a better person. And again, it's okay to say something if you're friends, right? If you have that relationship, especially pastors. It's important, or preachers, or someone who's in a higher position. It's important for example, if Rayuel saw me making a mistake, he has the right to tell me, right? He has the right to tell me, Alex, you're making a mistake. Right? He doesn't have the right to judge me, right? He should tell me because it's true, and then learn from that. See, and I'm not saying that Pastor Rayuel would judge me. I'm not saying that. Example lang to. And, all right, so don't be confused. And if I see somebody, I'm not going to judge you. I won't judge you. I'll try not to. I'm going to learn from that. Okay? And I'm going to try to make myself a better Christian. Okay? And I see that. I see people who make mistakes sometimes, and I try to do that. I try to just learn and just say, how can I use that as a lesson for my life? Right? By the way, God works in our lives through people around us. Right? In lots of different ways. He puts people in our lives for specific reasons. For us to learn from them. Again, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Both ways. If someone's doing really good, why? How can I use that to learn? And then maybe you're going to see that they're going to church every Sunday, or they're praying every night. Oh, I guess I need to pray every night. No? And if someone's really not doing well, and then you notice they're not going to church and they're not praying. Okay, I need to pray. I need to go to church. You see it? That's how God uses the people around us to point us in the direction that we need to be. Okay? So what do we learn tonight? Be observant, learn lessons, and be hardworking. Don't be lazy. Be a good steward, and don't judge. We learned a lot tonight. I learned a lot tonight. I really like this Bible verse. I'm going to read it more later tonight. I really like this chapter. There's a lot to learn here, but I think those are the important things. Anything else to add, Pastor or Job? Pastora. Joke. Okay, so let's pray. Let's close in prayer. Thank you, Lord, so much for bringing us here tonight. Thank you for this opportunity to preach. Thank you for Pastor Job and for Nana Celine. Thank you so much for their lives. Thank you for bringing them here. Thank you for their relationships. Lord, I pray that you will just help us to be good stewards of everything you give us. Help us to learn the lessons you give us, and help us to not judge and to be the best Christians that we could be and to take care of the things you bless us with, Lord. I just thank you so much for everything you give us, the things that we don't deserve. Thank you for the food you give us, for the home you give us, for the water you give us, for the coffee you give us, for the life that you give us, Lord, for the friends and the family. Thank you for everything, Lord. Pray that you just allow us and help us to take care of those things always, Lord. And we pray, amen.
All right. No.